Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. I am Tammy Mastroverdi, best-selling author of the book The Universe is Talking to You. And I am excited to share with you today. First of all, I always teach people how to tap into the higher helpline of the universe. And so I'm going to be talking a little bit today about how the universe answers us. Because what I teach, if you've been following me for a while, or if you're new, is how to communicate with the universe. The universe is always talking to you. You are also always communicating with the universe. So I teach you that if you're trying to solve a problem, if you're trying to find a solution, if you're trying to make a decision, if you're trying to create something new in your life, whatever it might be, you ask the universe for help. And so my new book, The Higher Help Method, is coming out in April. And part of that is really learning how to ask the universe for help, but then also recognizing the answers. So my first book, The Universe is Talking to You, teaches you how to open up to some of those answers. And so this past week, there was a really cool story from a friend of mine of sort of how the universe cleared a path for her and made it pretty obvious what decision she should make. And then something happened with me with one of my animals that I know that the universe was helping me with as well. So sometimes the universe will give you an idea to go and do something that maybe you're not familiar with, right? So it'll all of a sudden you'll get an idea to look up something on the computer or to grab a book or to follow someone on Instagram. This has happened to me that led me to the exact person that I needed. So sometimes you'll just get an idea as an answer to what you have asked the universe for help with. The universe will literally provide you with the idea that will lead you to the solution, right? And we often don't recognize that as an answer. So that's first of all. Sometimes it's through a sign somewhere else. Sometimes it's through a person, a conversation you overhear, something. I always say pay attention to things that repeat, the names of doctors, the names of books, the any modality, anything that kind of is repeating over and over, the universe is trying to get your attention. And so I wanted to share because sometimes the universe literally just helps you make things easier. It just helps you clear a path. Okay. And without that help, sometimes we will struggle more. We'll struggle, especially trying to make a decision or trying to accomplish something that if we had some of that higher help available to us, maybe we wouldn't struggle as much. So here are the two top stories that happened this week. Again, one with a friend of mine and one with my own life and my own animals. And I always share my animal stories because they're always crazy. So a friend of mine was looking for a new apartment. Now, one of the things I always say is if the universe is throwing up roadblocks, if all of a sudden you're having issues in a job and things just keep getting worse, if all of a sudden you're having issues with an apartment and things keep getting worse, often the universe is trying to shove you into something better. And so things are getting worse so that you will go. Okay. So a friend of mine had been in this apartment for years that she was living in, and she had always had issues with her landlord. And then all of a sudden she heard that they were selling the building. And she was like, oh, either they're going to get rid of renters or they might raise the rent, was the talk. So she thought, okay, me and my wife need to go, find another option. So they were going to look at this one building, and there were two different apartments in the building, but they just had this feeling of, the larger apartment that would have been better for them wasn't great. And so I said to her, you need to ask for a sign. You need to ask for the universe to guide you to the right thing so that, you feel a little bit more comfortable and secure in making a decision, right? And that's how the universe helps you. It gives you reassurance that you are on the right path, okay? So she specifically asked her angels, guides, loved ones, to clear the path to the right option and block other options. That was sort of how she said it, which I love. I think that was great. And so she just kept feeling that the one apartment that was a larger apartment, they didn't really like the view. They didn't like certain things about it. The energy didn't feel right, but they really didn't want the smaller apartment. So then they had the idea of, you know what? The idea, um, why don't we take the apartment that feels better, that we like the views and all of that stuff, and then wait for something else to open in the building, and then we can always move, right? So she decided, let me call the leasing agent and say, we're going to take the smaller apartment. So she calls the leasing agent to take the smaller apartment, and he says to her, oh my gosh, like perfect timing. The person who applied for this apartment that you're asking me about, their application was literally just declined. So it is still open, and we've dropped the rent by $300 a month. I mean, if that's not a clear path, right? If that's not a, oh my gosh, this was meant for us and we made this decision and we decided to call and inquire about it and it just reopened because she didn't even know that somebody else had applied, right? That maybe the apartment wasn't going to be available. And so amazingly, she was like, this is insane. This is my sign for a clear path. Um, I think I'm on the right track, right? So she felt good. She felt like reinforced and reassured about the decision that she made. Then she went to go see the apartment again and talk to, in person to the leasing manager or the leasing agent, and realized this is the first time, I guess maybe she had met him in person, or I'm not sure what it was, but realized he had a tattoo somewhere on him that said "Stay the course." And she was like, "Oh my gosh," like, she just, when you get, sometimes those of you who have gotten signs or you're on the right path, you sort of get the chills, right? So it's like one of those moments where you're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it," right? So sometimes that is how the universe answers you. It will clear a path. It will reinforce or reassure you. So she made the decision, and then all of a sudden, an applicant was just declined, perfect timing, and, oh, by the way, we're dropping the rent. Obviously that's like, oh my gosh, this is a great thing, I'm on the right path. And then seeing that tattoo sort of reinforced it for her, right? So I just love that story, and I was like, do you mind if I share it? Because I just think that's such a good example of sometimes how the universe answers us. Sometimes a sign is just things suddenly working out for you, or um you know something that's reassuring you, like you make a decision and then something even more amazing happens and you're like, oh, I'm on the right path, this is amazing, right? So that is sometimes how the universe will answer and direct you. Again, along those lines of, like, sometimes the universe making something easier for you is, and I've done this so many times when I have to deal with animals, whether we have 4 goats, we now have 2 cats inside. There's a barn cat we still take care of. And so anytime I have to do anything with them, especially giving them medicine, which, I'm sorry, I love you dog owners, but if you put peanut butter on something, most dogs will just eat it. Okay. Cats are crazy and goats are not easy either, which I didn't know till I had them. So for my one goat, who's always my problem child, we had to give him medicine yesterday. I noticed he was acting weird. And so we decided to give him this medicine that we have. And usually my husband does it. He's like, I don't know, 78 pounds. Okay, this goat. He's a big boy. He's not like a little bit. We have 2 smaller little goats, but then we have 2 big boys. And so this is one of my big boys. And I said to my husband, usually my husband will, like, kind of put him in a headlock and corner him to try and get it in. And my husband's a 6'2", a bigger guy than me, right? I'm like 5'2", okay? So I'm like, oh, how am I going to do this? But I didn't want to wait the 6 hours until my husband was going to get home from work. So I thought, I got to attempt to get this first dose into him. So I said to my husband, I'm just going to try it. I'll let you know what happens. Now, first of all, so help me God, somebody should have filmed this, because if I wouldn't have gone viral on TikTok or something with this video, it was honestly, I was laughing myself. I can only imagine what it looked like. Like, I really should have set up a camera because it was insane. Okay. But what I did was, before I even went out with the medicine in a syringe in my hand, I called in my higher help. So I called in Archangel Ariel, who's an angel for like nature and animals. I called in Saint Francis of Assisi in the Catholic faith, who is the patron Catholic faith, which I grew up in, is the patron saint of animals. And no, you do not have to have grown up in Catholic faith to call upon him. I always say you can call upon anybody from any belief system, because on the other side, there is no religion, there is no separation. Everybody is connected. So I always call upon him. I call upon Archangel Raphael because I'm giving medicine and there's a healing aspect to that. And I just ask, please, I'm doing something good for this animal. Can you please help me to achieve it and get this done so he doesn't have to wait the 6 hours till my husband gets home from work. So I went out, big 77 to 80-pound animal, and I was like, I'm just going to do it. Now he was a little weaker, thank God, because he wasn't feeling great. But I literally jumped on him like I'm riding a horse, okay? And grabbed his face and pulled it back. And I literally felt, I can't explain it to you how I felt, but I know this is my higher help, because I literally felt like, oh no, we're doing this. Like, this is going to work. And I got it in him, but it was like, a syringe. So there was 8 milliliters, I think, of this liquid that I had to get in him. So I did it, and then he broke free. And I was like, oh, I did it. But then I looked at the syringe, and there was like 3 millimeters left. And I'm like, no, I have to get, or milliliters, whatever. I said, I have to go at him again. But now he's wise to the fact that I'm trying to get something into him. Well, I chased this goat, like a hand on him, running around the corral area, trying to get him. At one point, I jumped on him and he turned and I flew into the fence. And I was like, I am not giving up. I know my higher helpers are on this and I'm going to accomplish this. I'm not going to make him suffer and wait. And so all of a sudden, he kind of slowed down and I got on him again, like a horse, no saddle, squeezed him with my legs, pulled his head back, and got and what's funny is I did it and he just stopped and let me do it. And he just looked up at me. And then after I put it in, I like stayed on him and I just hugged him and I'm like, I love you. I'm just trying to help you just swallow the medicine. Like, it was like this peaceful moment afterwards. And I know that I didn't do it alone, right? If I would have tried, and there have been times with him, again, my problem child, that we've had to give medication and I've walked inside and said, I can't do it. And then remembered, oh my God, why didn't I call in higher help? Called in higher help, went out and was able to do it. So this is why I always say to you, whatever you have to do, whatever goal you have to accomplish, whatever you have to get done, whatever you need to go smoothly, whatever decision you need to make, whatever reassurance you need that you're on the right path, whatever you are trying to create or manifest in your life, stop doing it alone. Stop trying so hard to figure it out and do the right thing on your own. I want you to stop and ask for the help. If you don't know specifically who to call in, you just call in your angels, your guides, your loved ones who have passed on. I always say all those in my soul society, which I look at as anybody who is helping me on the other side that maybe I don't know. And you just ask for the help. So that's another sort of way that they answered me. I know that they helped me because I can't even imagine how I even did it. I was 100% sure it wasn't going to happen because I've tried to do it before and that's why my husband does it. So, but I did it, right? And so those were 2 things where the universe sort of made the path easier, helped with something, reinforced or reassured something that someone was trying to do. Sometimes it's very subtle, again, like I said, where you'll ask for help with something and now you'll get an idea to try something new, or you'll get an idea to look, like I said, look something up, or ask someone, or, oh, hey, so doesn't so and so do X, Y, and Z? They might be able to help me. Why didn't I think of them before? Right? It will pop ideas into your head that will lead you to where you need to go. This has happened to me so many times, and I guarantee you it's happened to you. You're just probably not recognizing, especially if you have asked for the help and all of the sudden something pops in. All of the sudden you think of something that you didn't think of before, or you decide to try something you didn't try before. This has happened so many times with students who will come back to me, clients who will come back to me and say like, "Oh my gosh, I got to tell you this story." And I always love hearing it because then I can use them, right, to illustrate things to you guys. So that is how it happens. Sometimes it is a very subtle thing. Sometimes you are online at a store and you overhear a conversation, or you see a magazine with something on it when you're just sitting there, or you keep hearing the name of a specific book and you're like, why does this book keep coming across my path? Maybe there's something I need. Or you keep hearing somebody talk about a class, or learning something new, and you're like, why do I keep hearing about X, Y, and Z? Whether it's knitting or whatever. Maybe knitting is going to be very meditative for you and you need to learn how to do it to de-stress yourself, and for some reason knitting keeps coming up everywhere. And I don't mean the fact that the phones and everybody are listening to us and now all of a sudden you see a Facebook ad for it, because sometimes that's shady. But I'm talking about like out of the blue, not through technology. Somebody sends you an email, that's not anybody listening, right? So it happens all the time, but it happens all the time when you ask for the help, when you ask for the guidance, when you say, I'm trying to make this decision. Like my friend said, please just clear the path to the right answer and block everything else. And by the way, that is how the universe works. When you are hitting roadblocks, when you are trying to do something or accomplish something, or make a decision, and you just keep running into blocks, things are not working out. People that you're hiring are not working out if you're in a business, or no matter what you're trying to do, it's not working out, or you really want to take such and such a class, but oh, now you're not going to be able to do it because of the timing. If there is a roadblock, the universe is redirecting you. If there is a roadblock, if things are difficult, the universe is redirecting you. This happens all the time. An example I use in my new book is, let's say you have two different doctors that you want to go to, right? And there's Dr. A and Dr. B. And Dr. A, you're like, I don't know which one is better. I'm not really sure. And then you think, okay, I think I'm going to go with Dr. A. Okay. And you call Dr. A, and their staff is really rude and they can't take you for like 2 months. You're like, you know what? Let me just call Dr. B. And you call Dr. B, and the staff is so kind and so wonderful, and they can take you in 2 weeks. What doctor are you going to try? Do you know what I'm saying? Unless you've heard amazing things about Dr. A, if you're on the fence and you think they're both great, which doctor do you think the universe is pushing you toward, especially if you called in Archangel Raphael and asked for guidance, right? You're going to go with Dr. B because Dr. A, the staff was ridiculous and they can't take you for 2 months and you can't wait 2 months. That's how the universe will put up roadblocks. Even if you make a decision, so many people are afraid to take action, afraid to make a decision because, oh my gosh, what if I do the wrong thing? And it just leads to more misery, right? Nobody wants to struggle more. Nobody wants more misery. And so you don't want to make the wrong decision. I'm totally guilty of this. I'm always just like checking and double checking. And am I doing the right thing, right? But I promise you that if you go toward Dr. A, the universe will make it difficult for you to get there and will clear the path to Dr. B. That is how it works. But you had to have made the decision and made that phone call to Dr. A and Dr. B in order to get that answer. So you always have to take action. And I talk about this in the new book that I can't wait for it to come out. So that is sometimes how the universe answers you, but often it needs you to take action. When you ask for help and the universe sends you a sign or gives you an answer or gives you an idea, it needs you to take action on that idea so that it can continue to guide you. if you don't take action and you say, I don't know, I'm not going to call either doctor, I'm just going to wait it out because I really don't know and I can't figure it out. And what if I go to the wrong doctor and it's a miserable situation? You are literally, the universe can't help you anymore. It's like, dude, what am I supposed to do? You need to do something so that I can block one way and take you to the next one, right? We have to take action so that communication process can continue. We ask the universe for help. It sends us a sign or an idea or a synchronicity or whatever. We take action on that. It says, okay, great. It blocks one thing. It sends you another way. And then you're like, okay, great. I did this. And now I got another sign, right? Remember the story I told you about my friend in this whole thing? I said she went, she made the decision. She called. She found out, oh my gosh, this was amazing. Went to see the apartment again, saw the tattoo, a reinforcement. So when you're on the right path, the universe is going to continue to send you signs to continue to move you toward the thing that you want. But if you're not taking action to move forward, how can it send you the next sign? How can it light the way on the next path that you need to take if you're just standing there and not making a decision? So super important for everybody to not be afraid to take action, because I promise you the universe redirects you. It redirects you. If you make a wrong turn, it will redirect you. When you are in a job and everything is going wrong, or when you're trying to get an apartment and things aren't working out, the universe is redirecting you. That is how it works. I have seen it again and again and again in my life, in other people's lives that I have taught this to. This is just how it works. But we need to ask for the help. We need to recognize and be open to the answers, which is what my whole first book, The Universe is Talking to You About, is about. And then we need to take action, right? My 4 higher help method steps are getting clarity, asking the universe for help, shifting your energy so you stay in alignment with the signs, again, this book, and then taking action on those signs and recognizing those signs and taking action on them. So I just wanted to come on here and share with you, God, how amazing it is, how life is so much easier and happier, and there is less struggle when you involve the universe in your life, when you involve your angels and guides in your life, and when you stop trying so hard and stop trying to do everything on your own. Oh, somebody, I'm just looking, Poems by Aster on Instagram is asking, I keep seeing hearts everywhere. What does that mean? It's been at least within the last 3 years. So if hearts doesn't mean something specific for you, to me, that means someone is sending you love. So someone from the other side is using that. The universe may be using that to send you love, to send you encouragement. If hearts mean something specific to you, then you would have to think about that. Like if you had, if hearts were something that your mother loved or something, you would know it was a sign from your mother or something like that. But to me, hearts that you keep seeing over and over again, it seems to me like your angels and your guides and everybody are just trying to let you know that you're loved, at the most basic level, if that makes sense. Okay, let me just see if there's any other questions. Yes. Natalie, he is my problem child. His name is Merlin. He drives us nuts, but we love him to death. He's the sweetest. He's always been one of the sweetest goats in the whole entire world, and I just adore him, and I'm hoping he's going to start feeling better soon. Or yes, good goat story. It was a good goat story. I always have goat stories, and I'll tell you, most of my goat stories are about Merlin. God love him. Oh, Mary said this happens to me a lot. And I always say thank you, even if I hadn't asked for it. Yes. Yeah. Listen, the universe is always talking to you. It's always trying to guide you. But when you ask for it, I feel like I always tell people, when you ask for it, it's guaranteed. When you ask for it, you're going to get an answer. You may not get the answer that you want. You may not get the answer that you think you're going to get. You may get it in a different way. It may happen not on your timing, but I promise you, when you call in the help, you get it. You get it in some way, shape, or form, 100%. Oh, Aura says, yes, I always ask angels for a peaceful, happy, good outcome, and the best solution outcome appears much easier than if I could do it on my own. That's the whole thing. We were never, ever, 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 ever meant to walk through this life as a spirit, as a soul in a human body by ourselves. We were never meant to do anything, figure anything out, make decisions, clear paths, manifest, ever meant to do it on our own. I believe we knew when we chose to come back here and say, I'm going to go into a human body, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do amazing things, and I'm going to be able to do amazing things because I have an entire higher help team available to me. What I'm trying to do is help people remember that and help people learn how to tap in to that higher help line that is available all the time. I don't care if you want a parking space. I don't care if you want a nice weather for an outdoor barbecue. It doesn't matter. Ask for the help. That's all I'm saying. So, hi, Deborah. So anyway, that's what I wanted to come on here and share with everybody, because I feel like, I talk about all the time asking for higher help, but sometimes it's hard. And that's why I wrote an entire book about opening up to the signs and synchronicities. It's literally called The Universe is Talking to You. Tap into signs and synchronicities to create miracles every day, or magical moments every day. Sorry. So, when we can start tapping into how the universe answers us, we can start recognizing it, but it is our job to start acting on it. We actually have to take action, but knowing that there are no wrong actions because the universe always redirects us makes it a lot easier to take those actions, right? Oh my gosh. Lovely pic of you in my mind jumping out. I'm telling you, Mary, if I would have I said to my husband, somebody should have been here videotaping this because I would have posted it. I don't care. It was hysterical. It was hysterical. And he was like, keep telling you, we need to start a channel like Tammy's Farm. And I was like, no, we're not starting a channel for Tammy's Farm. But that would have been a really funny video, like a really funny video of me. Twice I had to jump on him and ride him like a horse. And God love him. He was good, and he loves me. I mean, like I said, he's a sweetheart. But of course, if you're running after a goat and you're trying to jam a syringe into their mouth, right? They're going to be like, no, I don't think so. Not today. I don't care if I don't feel good. See you later. So yeah, it would have been a great video. I said to my husband, next time we ever need to do that, somebody needs to videotape me because other people need to get enjoyment out of the things that I have to do. So anyway, yeah. That was my day. That was yesterday, actually, that happened. And I thought, I'm adding this story into my weekly spirit boost because this was a good one. So anyway, thank you all for being here. And I hope this helped you in some way to understand, number one, why you need to ask for the help. And number two, how sometimes the answers come through. So I hope that you all have an amazing and wonderful weekend. I always say it. It is coming up because it is Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. And then we have the weekend. And please do something that brings you joy, even if you're only spending a couple of minutes or an hour of time doing something that boosts your vibration, that makes you feel good. You deserve it. You need to do it to boost yourself, to make yourself feel better, especially if you're going through a tough time right now. Treat yourself to something, even if it's a latte, even if it's a new book. Go on Amazon and get yourself something, or my gosh, remember bookstores? Go to a bookstore and get yourself a book. Here's Callie. So yeah, do something that brings you joy and makes you happy. And I will be back here again next week. And I completely forgot, for those of you who stayed the whole time, I'm doing a sale on some of my classes right now. So in the description on YouTube and Facebook, you'll see the coupon code BF20 to use in my store. Only until next Tuesday am I doing 20% off of my individual classes. So classes on relationships, abundance, my Get Unstuck spiritual toolkit with like 8 different prayers, depending on the area of your life, so that you can call in higher help. Everything is 20% off. So check that out. Completely forgot to tell you that. And thank you all for being here, sending you love into the weekend. And I will be back here next week. Bye, everyone.